Didn't waste time. Rex, give me access to their comm channel. The AI clicked. Done. Isaac sent a sharp message, his voice cold and confident. Unidentified raiders. This is Commander Vance of the Resolute Dawn. A Dominion fleet is 5 minutes away. Run now or be crushed. The lie was risky. But the fear of Dominion forces was real. One raider ship turned and fired thrusters, leaving the field in panic. The other stayed, trying to scan for the fake signal. Rex, Isaac whispered, "Take their engines offline." The drones sent out a focused burst of electromagnetic noise. The remaining raider ship's engines sparked and went dark. It started spinning helplessly. Isaac moved fast. He flew straight toward the royal transport. Its silver hull was scarred and burning in some places. Through the viewport, he could see movement. Someone was alive inside. Opening docking clamp. Rex announced. Isaac put on his flight jacket and strapped his old blaster pistol to his belt. He didn't plan to use it, but it gave him courage. The airlock opened with a hiss, and cold air brushed against his face. The corridor of the royal transport was dim, lit only by emergency lights. The sound of sparks echoed in the silence. "Hello," Isaac called. "This is Commander Isaac Vance. I'm here to help." A soft voice answered from deeper inside. "Here, please." He followed the sound and found a young alien woman sitting against a broken console. Her pale blue skin shimmered under the emergency light. A faint golden crown rested on her forehead. Her long silver hair floated around her shoulders in the low gravity. She was clearly important. "Princess Lyra Orlith," Rex whispered in Isaac's earpiece, scanning her face. "Royal family. Third heir to the throne." Isaac knelt beside her carefully. "You're safe now. I'll get you out of here." Lyra's bright violet eyes opened slowly. She looked at him, confused. "A human," she whispered. "Yes," Isaac said simply. "A human who just happened to be in the neighborhood." She tried to smile, but her energy was fading fast. "The raiders. They damaged the engines. I thought I was going to die here." "Not today," Isaac said. "Can you walk?" She nodded weakly. Isaac offered his hand, and she took it. Her fingers were cool and light, almost weightless. Back on the Resolute Dawn, Lyra sat in the medical chair while Rex scanned her vitals. Her pulse was weak, but she would recover. Isaac returned to the pilot's seat. The raider ship was still drifting, powerless. The other one had already jumped away, but new signals were appearing at the edge of the nebula. Reinforcements. "Multiple ships inbound," Rex warned. "Time, 2 minutes. Then we'd better fly fast," Isaac replied. He plotted a course through the black dust belt. A narrow corridor of dark particles and gravitational anomalies. It was dangerous. Most pilots avoided it. But Isaac knew it like the back of his hand. Years ago, he had trained in this region during the war. He activated the engines and pushed the throttle. The ship slid into the belt like a silent arrow. Dust particles hit the hull with soft thuds. The navigational lights dimmed as Rex focused all power on shields. "Are you insane?" Lyra's weak voice came from behind him. "Yes," Isaac said without looking back. "But it's the fastest way out." The raiders followed. Their engines were louder, their ships bigger, but they were not familiar with the belt's hidden paths. Isaac weaved between sharp turns and invisible gravity wells, his hands moving with quick, smooth precision. One raider ship hit a gravity eddy and spun away. The other tried to follow, but fell behind. "Engines at maximum," Rex reported. "We are clearing the belt in 30 seconds. "Good," Isaac said. He felt sweat on his forehead, but his heart was steady. Finally, the Resolute Dawn broke out of the belt into clear space. The stars opened up like a sea after a storm. Behind them, the raiders were nowhere in sight. Isaac leaned back in his chair, letting out a long breath. "We made it." Lyra sat down beside him, still pale but now smiling faintly. "You are a strange human," she said softly. "Most would have left me there. You came alone." Isaac shrugged. "I guess I don't like bullies." She looked at him, as if trying to read his soul. Then she nodded. "I owe you my life." Hours later, the Royal Patrol finally arrived. A fleet of elegant silver ships appeared in formation, surrounding the resolute Dawn. The largest vessel opened a come channel. "This is Captain Sareth of the Orlith Royal Guard," a formal voice said. "Identify yourself, human ship," Isaac answered calmly. "Commander Isaac Vance, independent salvager. I rescued Princess Lyra from raider attack. She's safe." There was a long silence. Then the voice softened. "Thank you. Please prepare for boarding. The princess has requested to meet with you personally." Isaac was surprised. Royalty didn't often request anything from humans. Usually, they gave orders. But he didn't argue. 2 Orlith guards entered the ship. Their armor shone like polished moonlight. They bowed to Lyra and then escorted Isaac to the royal vessel. The royal cruiser was massive. Its halls were made of glowing crystal walls with rivers of soft blue energy running beneath the floor. It felt less like a ship and more like a living palace. Isaac walked carefully behind the guards, aware that hundreds of alien eyes were watching him. Humans were not common guests here. In the center of a grand chamber, Princess Lyra stood. She wore a long silver robe, and her crown now glimmered with bright light. She looked much stronger. "Commander Isaac Vance," she said in a clear voice that filled the hall. "You saved my life when no one else was near. You risked everything for someone not of your world. That is something the Orlith will not forget." Isaac shifted uncomfortably. "I didn't do it for a reward, Princess. It just seemed like the right thing to do." Her violet eyes shone with warmth. "And that," she said softly, "is why it matters." She stepped closer. "You will be escorted to SciFi-Prime, our home world. My father wishes to thank you personally. A simple message is not enough. A debt like this must be honored properly." Isaac's brow furrowed. "Your home world? Princess, I'm just a salvager. I don't belong in royal palaces." Lyra tilted her head slightly amused. "You may not think you belong, but after today, the stars may think otherwise." On the return flight, Isaac sat on the observation deck of the royal cruiser. Outside, the stars moved like streams of light as the ship prepared for hyperspace jump. He still couldn't believe it. That morning, he had been alone in deep space, hoping for a quiet day. Now he was on a royal ship, being taken to the most powerful alien world in the galaxy. Rex floated beside him, spinning slowly. "You seem nervous," the AI said. Isaac chuckled. "I just saved a princess, Rex. I don't even know what I'm supposed to say when I meet her father." "Hi, I'm Isaac, and I found your daughter next to a burning engine." "Perhaps," Rex replied, "you should simply be yourself." Isaac sighed. "Yeah, that always gets me in trouble." He looked out the window again. Lyra stood at the far end of the deck, speaking quietly with her guards. She looked different now, not a frightened girl in a broken ship, but a leader. Graceful and strong, she caught him watching and walked over. "You look like someone who wants to run away," she teased lightly. Maybe, Isaac admitted. "I'm not used to big halls and royal thanks." She sat beside him, her silver robe brushing the floor. "Neither am I used to humans who fly straight into danger with a smile." He laughed softly. That wasn't a smile. That was panic. Lyra's lips curved upward. "Perhaps, but your panic saved my life." She grew quiet for a moment. "In my world, strength is measured by power, by how much light you control. But you showed me something else today. You showed me courage." Isaac didn't know what to say. Her words carried a weight that went beyond simple thanks. "You may think you're just a salvager," said gently. "But soon, the galaxy will know your name." Hours later, the ship jumped to hyperspace. A wave of light washed over the observation deck, and the stars blurred into bright ribbons. Isaac closed his eyes and let the vibration of the ship calm his thoughts. He didn't know what kind of welcome waited for him on SciFi-Prime, the Orlith homeworld. He didn't know what debt meant in their culture, but he knew one thing for sure. This was only the beginning. Somewhere deep in his chest, an old part of him, the soldier, the explorer, the human who never turned away, stirred awake, and for the first time in years. Isaac Vance smiled. The stars rushed past the royal cruiser like silver rivers. Commander Isaac Vance sat on the observation deck, staring at the endless light outside the window. The hum of the Orlith ship was soft, almost musical. Everything around him felt too clean, too perfect, too royal. He still couldn't believe where he was. A few days ago, he was alone in a small salvage ship, looking for scrap. Now he was on his way to SciFi-Prime. It's the most protected world in the Orlith Dominion. Rex, his little cube-shaped drone, hovered next to him. "You look uneasy," the AI said softly. Isaac gave a short laugh. "Uneasy? I'm going to meet the most powerful king in this part of the galaxy. I'm wearing my old flight jacket and boots with a hole in them." "You saved his daughter," Rex replied. "Clothes won't matter." Isaac leaned back in his chair. "I hope you're right." At the other end of the deck, Princess Lyra stood in quiet conversation with her guards. She had changed since the rescue. When he found her, she was weak and scared. Now, in her silver robes and crown, she looked like someone born to rule. When she walked, the guards followed her. When she spoke, people listened. Yet, every now and then, she looked back at Isaac with a small smile, the same soft smile she gave him after the escape. It reminded him that beneath the title, she was also someone who had feared for her life and found trust in him. The royal cruiser approached SciFi-Prime. The window glass turned slightly blue to protect their eyes from the star's light. Isaac leaned closer and stared at the planet below. It was unlike any world he had ever seen. Massive crystal towers rose from green valleys. Giant floating platforms circled the skies, glowing like stars. Rivers of bright energy moved across the surface, connecting cities like veins of light. "It's beautiful," he whispered. Lyra walked up beside him, her robe brushing the floor. "This is home," she said softly. SciFi-Prime, the heart of the Orlith Dominion. Few humans have seen it. Isaac nodded slowly. "I can see why. It looks like something out of a dream." The ship descended through glowing clouds. A soft golden light filled the cabin. The royal docking bay was made of polished crystal, shining like sunlight trapped in glass. Dozens of Orlith guards stood in perfect lines, their silver armor reflecting the light. Isaac shifted uncomfortably as the ship landed. He wasn't used to being the center of attention. He preferred quiet corners and messy docks, not royal parades. As the airlock opened, a formal announcement echoed across the bay. Presenting Commander Isaac Vance, of humanity, honored guest of the royal house. Dozens of alien eyes turned toward him. Some looked curious, some suspicious, some simply awed. Humans rarely came here, and no human had ever rescued a royal family member. Lyra stepped out first, tall and graceful. The crowd bowed deeply. She turned back to Isaac and gave a small nod, as if saying, "Come with me." He followed, walking between two lines of shining soldiers. Rex floated quietly behind him, scanning and recording everything. The royal palace was unlike anything Isaac had seen before. It was carved from living crystal, tall and thin, reaching into the clouds like frozen beams of light. Waterfalls of glowing energy fell from the ceilings. The floor felt warm, like standing on soft sunlight. Lyra led him to the grand hall. A massive set of doors opened slowly, revealing a wide room filled with Orlith nobles. Their clothes shimmered with soft light, and their eyes followed Isaac like he was something rare. At the far end of the hall, on a raised platform, sat King Thalon Orlith, ruler of the Dominion, and Lyra's father. King Thalon was tall and calm, with silver hair that flowed like liquid. His golden crown glimmered softly, not heavy or sharp, but elegant. His violet eyes were sharp, but kind. When he looked at Isaac, it felt like being seen through completely, but not judged. "Commander Isaac Vance," the king said, his voice deep and clear. "Step forward." Isaac swallowed hard. He took a few steps and stopped in front of the throne. "You are human," the king said slowly. "Your people live on the edges of this galaxy. You are not part of our empire, and yet, when my daughter was in danger, it was not our ships that saved her. It was yours." The room fell silent. Everyone was watching. Isaac straightened his back. Your Majesty, I didn't do it for glory or reward. I just did what I thought was right. A soft smile crossed the king's face. And that, he said, is exactly why it matters. Lyra stepped beside the throne. Her violet eyes shone with quiet pride. My daughter told me everything, the king continued. How you risked your small ship against raiders. How you used wit instead of war. How you refused to leave her behind. You have done something no one has done before. You have earned not only our gratitude, but our trust. The king stood up and raised his hand. A soft golden light filled the room. A small object floated down from above, a glowing crystal sphere, pulsing with energy like a living heart. It was beautiful and powerful. This, the king said, is a royal bond core. It is one of the rarest creations of our people. It is given only to those who are to lead our fleets and to those we consider family. No human has ever received this gift. The crowd gasped softly. Isaac stared at the glowing sphere. Why give it to me? He asked quietly. Because courage is not about where you are born, the king said. It is about what you do when others turn away. You, Isaac Vance, have proven yourself worthy. From this day on, you are recognized as an honored ally of the Orolith Dominion, and the fleet of the Vanguard will answer your call. The hall erupted in a mix of surprise and awe. The bond core floated toward Isaac and gently rested in his hands. The moment his fingers touched it, the sphere glowed brighter. Lines of light spread across his palm like warm sunlight. Lyra stepped closer. You've saved my life, she said softly. Now, part of our strength belongs to you. This is our way of saying you are no longer just an outsider. The ceremony ended, but the whispers began. As Isaac walked down the halls with Rex floating beside him, he could hear nobles talking. A human with a bond core? This will change everything. What does the king see in him? Some voices were filled with respect, others with fear. Rex hovered near Isaac's ear. I am detecting a 68% rise in political tension. Isaac sighed. Great, I didn't even ask for a gift, and now I'm a walking headline. But deep inside, he also felt something else. A spark. A weight. A responsibility. This wasn't just a shiny toy. A bond core meant leadership, command. Power.Lyra found him later in the royal garden. The night sky above SciFi-Prime was like a sea of glowing threads. Giant crystal flowers opened slowly, releasing soft light into the air. You're hiding, she said playfully. Isaac smiled. Not hiding, just breathing. This is a lot for a guy who sleeps in a small salvage ship. She sat on the stone bench beside him. I know it's overwhelming. Our people have rules, traditions. But what you did out there, it wasn't tradition. It was real. And real things shake old empires? Isaac turned the bond core in his hands. Its light reflected in her violet eyes. Why would your father give me something like this? Won't it cause trouble? It already has, she said honestly. But trouble is not always bad. Sometimes, trouble is how change begins. They sat in silence for a moment, watching the glowing flowers. Lyra finally spoke again. There are many who don't trust humans. They think your kind is too wild, too unpredictable. But you did something none of us expected. You showed trust first. You risked everything for someone you didn't know. And now they have to face the fact that humans are not what they believed. Isaac exhaled slowly. That sounds like a heavy burden. Lyra smiled softly. Then don't carry it alone. The next day, Isaac stood in the Vanguard Command Hall, a massive control center orbiting SciFi-Prime. Dozens of sleek Orolith ships floated outside, like silver arrows ready to fly. He wore a formal black jacket now borrowed from the royal fleet. It still felt strange, like he was pretending to be someone else, the fleet commander. An older alien named Selvar approached him with a respectful nod. Commander Vance, I have been instructed by His Majesty to integrate the Vanguard fleet with your bond core. From now on, they will respond to your commands. Wait, Isaac said slowly. You mean if I say go, they actually go? Yes, Selvar said with a calm smile. You have been bonded. That means you carry the authority of the royal bloodline. Do not take it lightly. Isaac looked at the enormous ships outside. Each one was 10 times bigger than his old Resolute Dawn. His heart beat faster. He never asked for power, but now he had it. As Isaac walked through the ship docks, Orlith soldiers stopped and bowed. Pilots saluted. Officers whispered his name. He wasn't just some human anymore. He was part of something larger, but it wasn't all admiration. He could see a few cold eyes, 2 officers who didn't like a human in their command chain. Rex floated beside him. You are making many friends, it said dryly. And some enemies, Isaac muttered. I can feel it. That night, Lyra joined him again on the deck of the flagship. Starfall Wing. The Bond core floated gently near Isaac, its light casting soft gold across the room. Tomorrow, Lyra said, there will be a council meeting. They will question my father's decision. Some will say this bond should be broken, but I believe in you. You earned this. And no council can erase what you did out there. Isaac looked at her. Why me, Lyra? Why trust me so much? She smiled gently. Because you didn't see me as a princess. You just saw someone who needed help. No Orlith warrior did that. Only you did. Isaac chuckled softly. You make it sound heroic. I was just stubborn. Sometimes, she said, stubborn people change history. The council meeting the next day was tense. Nobles argued in their musical language, their voices echoing around the crystal chamber. Some wanted to honor the bond. Others feared it would make humans too powerful. Isaac stood quietly at the edge of the room watching. He didn't need to speak. He had already spoken through his actions. Finally, King Thalon rose. We can fear humans. We can close our borders. Or we can remember the truth when the galaxy was dark and our own ships failed. It was a human who brought light. The hall fell silent. One by one, the council members lowered their heads. The decision was made. The bond would stand. Later that night, Isaac stood alone on the observation deck of Starfall Wing. The bond core floated in front of him, glowing softly. The fleet outside shimmered like a sea of stars. Waiting, Rex floated beside him quietly. You have power now, the AI said. What will you do with it? Isaac smiled slowly. I don't know yet. But I won't use it to rule. I'll use it to protect. That's what got me here in the first place. He walked to the window and placed his hand on the glass. The stars stretched endlessly ahead. Somewhere out there were people in danger, just like Lyra had been. Behind him, Lyra appeared quietly. Are you ready for what comes next? She asked. Isaac turned to face her. I wasn't ready for any of this. But I'll figure it out, she nodded softly, pride shining in her violet eyes. Then you're exactly the kind of person we need. The fleet lights turned brighter as engines powered up. For the first time in history, a human stood at the command of an Orolith Vanguard fleet. Not because of conquest, not because of war, but because of courage, trust, and a choice to help someone in need. Isaac Vance looked at the stars and smiled. Let's go make some history, he whispered. The Starfall Wing led the fleet into the darkness of space, leaving behind a glowing trail of light. The galaxy would remember this night, the night a single human's act of kindness changed everything.